Hello everyone, Professor Philip Travis. It is our final week here in the history of modern Germany, and we have quite a few things that we're going to be doing this week as well as into our finals week. First thing I want to say is I hope everyone's really enjoyed this class. I hope I see some familiar names on the roster for next term in my classes, and I hope to see all of you in future classes, in upcoming terms, if not this coming term, the following one, hopefully. And I hope everyone has really enjoyed the learning experience in this class. This week, we're not going to have a discussion this week. We have a lot of stuff to do. There are assigned readings. Please, in the modules area, make sure you go and see the readings and assignments this week. So we do have some readings this week. And instead of having the discussion forum prompt, I've instead included a to consider subject area that I would like you to read so that it informs your thinking while you do the assigned reading for this week. So there's no discussion this week, and the reason is because, of course, we have upcoming our final exam, which is not cumulative. It covers the material since the last exam, and, of course, also our research paper. So our final exam, which is like the first test, though no big changes in terms of the structure of the exam, that exam is due this Sunday. Okay, the research paper, and I've posted a checklist, sort of guidelines for you on the research paper. The research paper is due Wednesday of exam week, so effectively it is your final in terms of what you need to have submitted during finals week. I have made a slight amendment to the study guide, and I hope that this helps you. I know we cover a lot of material in the class, and I know sometimes it can be hard to prepare for a test such as this. So what I've done is, in addition to having the basic sort of description of the assignment and having the subject area for the essay, in addition to that, I have included a short list of general topic areas that one should look at and review. So, for example, one of the topic areas is obviously, the Holocaust. Within that, there's a number of different subject areas. For example, you have the roots of the Holocaust. The roots of the Holocaust would then ask you to go back and review things related to Nazi ideology, the imperialism's roots of racism, these types of things. You have the 1930s element of the Holocaust, and of course that would then be encouraging you to go and look at the Nuremberg laws, the Kristallnacht, these types of things. The first organization of the concentration camps, and then of course we go on to the Second World War with, of course, the development of the final solution, it was called, which was sort of a precursor to that, would have course been the SS Einsatzgruppen and the development of gas vans, and then ultimately gas chambers at death camps like Belsac and Auschwitz and so on. So this week we're really going to be looking at we are looking a little bit at the end of Germany during World War II. So we have a big subject area, but I also want to connect our thinking this week up with Germany today. Germany during and since unification. One of the items we'll be reading this week has to do with the unification of Germany and NATO in the perspective, the changes that happened to NATO post-Cold War, post-unification, the different perspectives, and of course the perspective of the Soviet Union, and then today, of course, Vladimir Putin's Russia. The photos you see here, of course, on the top is an iconic picture of the tearing down of the Berlin Wall in 1989. And below, we see the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who just, of course, replaced Angela Merkel as German Chancellor. The factoid for this week is this. Both of these sort of images are really landmark sort of moments in modern German history. Of course, Germany during the 1800s, right? Germany really wasn't even a country. You had the Kingdom of Prussia, of course, and you had a collection of different kingdoms within the greater Holy Roman Empire, and they were largely under the sort of direction during the 1800s of the Austrians, right? Of course, with the unification of Germany through the course of war, under the leadership of Otto von Bismarck, you have the emergence of a modern German state, ultimately becoming a German empire with expansive territories that extended into areas that are today controlled by a number of different countries. And of course, this leads, of course, to the First World War, and then, of course, the Second World War. Germany, of course, today has much smaller borders than it had during, for example, the years prior to the First World War. But, of course, after World War II, Germany would be divided. The Soviet Union, of course, occupied Eastern Europe and, of course, effectively occupied East Germany, developing the so-called GDR, which was the East German sort of Soviet puppet state, really. And, of course, West Germany, influenced by the United States and its Western allies, the British, for example, and the French. So obviously the tearing down of the Berlin Wall was a really landmark moment in German history, the beginning of a process, and just because the wall came down didn't mean that there was an immediate political unification, but the beginning of a process whereby East and West Germany would be reunified, right? And of course, East Germany was really incorporated into West Germany in terms of political and economic sense. The next sort of major turning point has just happened, and of course it's in the context of the ongoing war in Ukraine. Olaf Scholz, shortly following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, spoke before the Bundestag in Germany. And Olaf Scholz announced that Germany would be highly expanding its military spending and output from 47 billion to something like 100 billion. So Germany has announced that it will double its military spending, and for the first time since the end of the Second World War, Germany announced it will send military weapons to those fighting the Russian invasion in Ukraine. And this was really, it was a powerful speech, and it was really a landmark move for Germany, which, of course, since World War II, Germany has really, in its foreign policy, reacted to the atrocity that it began and carried out during World War II. Germany has since reacted to that with a real pacifist drive in its foreign policy, unsurprisingly. So this move to double German military spending from 47 billion to 100 billion for the year 2022, and to begin shipping German weapons to the fighters, the Ukrainian fighters in Russia. This is really a landmark move for Germany, a historical sort of turning point. Not unlike the tearing down of the Berlin Wall, which of course was a landmark moment, often symbolizing not only the unification of Germany, but also the end of the Cold War, though the Cold War did not really technically end for about 2 years after. So that's the factoid for this week. Landmark turning points in the emergence of modern Germany, the tearing down of the Berlin Wall, and Olaf Scholz' recent announcement in Germany about German efforts to aid the fighters in Ukraine, the resistance in Ukraine, fighting off the Russian invasion, and also to redouble military spending in the interest of German in continental European defense. I hope everyone's really enjoyed this class this term. Please let me know if you have any questions. If anybody wants, I've decided that if anybody wants to schedule a virtual sort of Zoom meeting please let me know, and I'll happy to be able to schedule that for the class. But please let me know in an email, and we'll go about scheduling that. If anybody wants to talk about the essay, for example, I'm happy to do that with you. So post that little summary factoid in the extra credit discussion forum. I hope everyone's really enjoyed the term, and I look forward to seeing you in a future class, and I look forward to reading your tests and your essays. Thanks, everyone.